Hello and welcome if you're new to my channel, and if you're a subscriber, a warm welcome back. This video is part of my viewer comment response series where I respond to a comment made by a viewer against one of my videos. And the particular comment for this video goes as follows. I have been trying to find more on Joseph Duclos and I've been wanting to see some of their bags being used by others. However, I live in the US and so far I haven't seen anyone carrying any here. The Heritage L26 in blue is on my list to purchase. I was wondering if you have seen it in person and how do you like it? I'm also very curious to know what it says on the sides, on the metal plates on either side of the bag. I'm going to answer those two questions. I'll talk about the blue she's referring to, which is the Bleu de Cocagne, and also the script that's on the side of the bag. And then I will end, or I may infuse, but I will show you a Heritage Diane messenger bag that's a 1.5 years old, and just show you how the bag will evolve and patina with use and wear. I'm Anesu Sagonda, and I produce educational luxury content for anyone after the finer things, whether you're new to money and wanting to learn how to navigate the terrain, or you're young and starting out in life and wanting to reap the benefits of buying better quality from the get-go, or you're into luxury but you want to focus more on high quality under the radar brands, then my content is geared towards you. The day I went into the Joseph Duclos showroom to film the Bleu de Cocagne in the heritage leather, I also discovered that they had a Bleu de Cocagne in harmony leather. And I wasn't expecting this because I went in just to feel the harmony leather as well. I had heard about it, but I wanted to see it and feel it for myself. And so when I saw two Bleu de Cocagnes, different leathers, I thought, this is absolutely fantastic. How lucky am I? I'm going to film both because I would like to be able to show my commenter Bleu de Cocagne, two different leathers, two different takes, and they're better informed to make a decision. Which one do I like? I'm a patina person all the way, so I'm always going to go with the heritage leather, but I do like the harmony leather. On the right hand side, we have the heritage leather. The color, the blue, is an incredibly very dark, deep blue, what I would describe as possibly an indigo with a gentle hint of violet. And then on the left, we have the harmony. And the harmony, I would say, it's a few shades lighter. It's very much a royal blue color. Both of these leathers are transparent. And when I say transparent, I mean they're natural leathers with absolutely no top coating, no protection whatsoever to the leather. So they're going to scuff, mark, scratch, and so forth. But the harmony will be a little more resistant. And why that is it has minimal finish to the leather. When I say minimal finish, I think the best way to describe it would be to say, let's say you have very good skin. You're not typically going to wear foundation. You don't need to wear foundation because your skin is very good. You can go without makeup. And what you'll typically most probably wear is a bit of tinted moisturizer. A bit like harmony leather. It's very good leather. You don't need to mask it or add any coating or anything like that to it. But you'll just put a very gentle finish to the leather because it's very good, but it's not the very best. But you'll just put minimal finish just to give the leather a little bump up. Whereas the heritage, the leather, your skin is absolutely flawless. It's perfection. You do not need to put foundation. If you did put foundation, you're just masking the beauty of the flawless leather, the flawless skin, for example. But what you would do instead is just deeply moisturize your skin or the leather just to stay on top of things and just ensure that the leather just shines and marvels in its flawless complexion. Coming back to the harmony leather, as I mentioned, minimal finish. So what that means in practical terms is it's a little more resistant than the heritage leather. So it's not going to scuff, scratch as much as the heritage leather, for example. It's chrome tanned leather. And what that will also mean in the long term is that you strip out all the natural oil. So it's not going to patina with time. But what will happen with use, with time, is that it'll develop a very gentle shine to the leather, but that's all you're going to get. The leather itself is a very fine textured leather, slightly waxy feel to it. And as I mentioned, it's just going to have a very gentle shine that'll evolve with time. So essentially, you're going to end up with a leather that is consistent. The color will not evolve like you get with the heritage leather, and it's going to be a little more resistant. So if you're someone who's a little more sensitive about the scratching, this is the leather for you. Somebody who wants a consistent color throughout the life of the bag, this is the leather for you. Whereas with the heritage, you're getting the total opposite. You are buying the heritage leather because it's very transparent. It's absolutely exquisite skin that you want to enjoy as is. It has oil, and that oil really works to its advantage because although it scratches, marks and scuffs easily, the oil will buffer, will melt away your very superficial scratches. It's only if a scratch is incredibly deep that it won't be able to dissolve that scuff, but what it will do is just lighten it somewhat during the course of the bag's life. But with your heritage leather, you're buying it for the ability to patina. The color is going to darken significantly with time, and it's going to develop an incredibly exquisite, a rich shine with its patina, and the color will evolve. So the color you buy, the Bleu de Cocagne, when they box the bag and send it to you, and then the color a year, 2 years, 3 years will change. It'll deepen, it'll darken. So if you're somebody who wants a consistent color, this is not the bag for you. But if you like the darkening, the patina, you are going to get the very best. But what I'd really like to mention when it comes to heritage leather, which I think a lot of people are not really aware of. Yes, everybody knows it's produced by a tannery called Reiss, owned by Chanel, and the leather is called Novo Napa at Reiss. It's arguably their very best leather, and it's a leather that other tanneries have tried to copy and no one has managed to as yet. The selection process is incredibly rigorous. When they are choosing skins to produce into heritage leather, for every 100 skins, for example, that they get, they may only choose 1, 2, possibly just 3 leathers that they then process into heritage leather. So they are choosing the very best. The selection process is incredibly rigorous. So by the time you buy a bag from Joseph Duclos, please believe me when I say you are buying the very best transparent leather in the industry. And coupled with the fact that the artisans who produce the bags, they are incredibly skilled, they are experienced, they are at the top of their game, because you need somebody who is incredibly comfortable and confident around the leather, because they need to be able to ensure that they don't mark, scratch the leather when they are manipulating the leather, when they're cutting it, or when they are sewing it. They do not mark or scratch it. And more so as well, when they are producing the bag, patinas develop with touch. You need to ensure the workman is not going to cause the bag to start to patina when they are producing the bag, and that requires an incredibly high level of skill. Then throw into that equation, as if it's not already difficult enough, there are certain skin pHs that react with heritage leather. So there's certain workmen who can't even work with the leather. And I'm sure someone's going to turn around and say to me, they can wear gloves. You can't wear gloves. You need to be able to use your bare hands to ensure you're achieving the highest level of workmanship when you are producing heritage leather bags. So you're getting the very best leathers in the industry, coupled with exceptional skill from the craftsmen. So you're getting an incredibly high quality product from Joseph Duclos. With heritage leather, it's vegetal tanned, it's double tanned. The first process, it's pre-tanned in chrome, and then it's soaked and drummed in vegetal oil and the bark from specific trees. And that in turn will give the heritage leather its signature round hand and the distinct smell of the leather. When they say round hand in the industry, they're essentially referring to the feel, the texture of the leather. It's smooth, it's a firm, plush, structured leather. That's why they use it for the Diane bag. There's only a selection of about 16 to 18 colors that are achievable when it comes to the color palette for your vegetal tanned leathers, and they're more of your darker colors. And with Joseph Duclos, this is where you're buying into Ramesh Nair's experience, his incredible ability. He knows which colors are going to evolve well with time. So with Joseph Duclos, you're never going to be able to get the full 16 to 18 colors. He always chooses the colors he knows are going to evolve incredibly well. That's why you have your reds, your greens, your blues, your purples, your chestnut colors, for example, because as they patina, as they darken, they still look absolutely superb. And then also throw into the equation the lighter colors. I know someone will ask, why can't you get light colors in the heritage leather? If you wanted to get the light colors, it's not possible to tan the leathers a light color, because the bark from the specific trees that they use give the leather the dark color, which you can't lighten. To lighten it, you would need to chrome tan the leather. Then you'd ultimately strip all of the natural oils and lose the phenomenal high quality and the ability of the leather to patina, the distinct benefits you're buying from it. And it ceases to be the high quality leather that you have paid a premium for. So chrome tanning is just a no-no. There's just a very specific color palette that you can have with your vegetal tanned leathers. But when you look at the harmony is chrome tanned. You have a much wider selection of colors that you can achieve with your chrome tanning. But with chrome tanning, you do get what's called the blue cast with the chrome tanning. And that's a blue color you get, a blue cast in the leather. You don't see it with the dark colors, but with your pale, very bright colors, you do see the blue cast. It's patchy, it causes the color to be unattractive, and it's what they call in the industry clouding or the bloom effect. So what happens with brands that chrome tan and want to achieve your pale or your very bright colors? They will add a protective coating to the leather. Then you'll be able to mask the blue cast of the chrome tanning. So that's your harmony leather. That's your heritage leather. Two transparent but very different leathers when it comes to their uptake of color and the performance of the leathers. I'm not a quitter, and I will keep working at something until I crack it. But I practiced for over a week, 10 to 15 minutes a day, saying the text that is written around the Joseph Duclos Diane bag. And as it got closer and closer to recording time, I just thought it doesn't sound as good as I would like it to sound. So here's the text. I'd have liked to have said it myself, but it's an extract from the letters patent granted by King Louis XV to Joseph Duclos. At the time when he was reigning, he owned everything. And if you wanted to do anything, you would have to apply to him for permission first. And he would grant permission if he felt what you were doing was of high quality, it was of value. And Joseph Duclos were granted the letters patent to use the water from the 3 springs in the village of Lectoure in their tannery. The 3 springs were Diane, Saint Clair, and Fontenay. And those are names of some of the styles at Joseph Duclos. The brand have kept this style of the handwriting at that time and created calligraphy that's a variation of that old French style of writing. The letters patent is very similar to what we have here in the United Kingdom, the Royal Warrant, which I'm a huge fan of because they are issued by senior members of reigning royal family in the United Kingdom. And they are issued to companies that are producing high quality products or services consistently. So it's the same thing, letters patent and the Royal Warrant. I often get asked, what is a patina? How does it develop? What do I need to do? You don't need to do anything, just enjoy your bag. How the patina develops is, with the heritage leather, I have, as an exhibit for you, an 18-month-old Diane Messenger bag in heritage leather. It's a bag that gets fairly high usage. It's used often. It's not babied at all. And this is how it will look 18 months later. But again, it all very much depends on how you use it, how you carry it. But it hasn't been babied at all. It will patina differently all over the bag. It's not consistent. It'll patina where the bag has been exposed, where it's rubbed, where it's touched. If you look under the flap, you can still see the original purple color, but the rest of the bag is darkening, and it'll darken even more. It's a living, breathing organism. And the places where it's rubbed more, the back, for example, will even be darker. The part that maybe touches the side or your underarm, depending on how you carry the bag. If you store the bag for a while, you don't use it for a while, you may find when you come back to it that there's a whitish film on top. Please don't panic. That is perfectly normal. That is the oil. All you have to do is just get a cloth and just buff the bag, and the leather will re-soak the oil again. On the right-hand side, top right-hand side of the flap, there is the only visible scratch on the bag. It was a fairly deep scratch to begin with, but it has softened over time, but it won't totally disappear. But the oil has helped to soften the scuff, and this is what the bag looks like. As you can see, you can't really see the scratching, and that's something that'll just, what the bag will look like with wear and tear. The oil will just help to soften superficial scuffs, marks, and so forth. And where you touch it, you expose it, you rub it, it'll just darken. So the darkening will not be consistent throughout the bag. So that's wear and tear, that's the patina, what it looks like on an 18-month-old Diane messenger bag that has been used fairly regularly, and it hasn't been babied at all. Is this what you thought the patina would look like? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If there's anything else you'd like to raise from the video, as always, let me know down below.